Hey Sneak Peekers, my name is Mauricio, and we're out here at South by Southwest 2024, and today we're checking out The Uninvited. Let's get right into it. My name is Mauricio. We're students from the University of Texas at Austin.
Hey, well done you.
Thank you, thank you.
Studying film, communication.
Radio, television, and film. Yes, sir.
You need to keep coming.
Thank you. Absolutely. So I was wondering, which experience was more uninviting? Being bit by a brown recluse 5 times or losing your teeth twice?
Oh my God. Wow. Man, how do I answer that question? Losing my teeth twice. Barely.
And I saw that you study at the Teatro General San Martin in Buenos Aires. Can you tell me what stuck or resonated with you the most while studying there?
Yeah, well, I started studying acting when I was 8 years old with my teacher, my first teacher. Her name is Graciela de Rosa. And I think that the first thing that helped me was like I was a very shy girl, and that helped me to kind of like relax when interacting with people. And then it made me understood that that was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Acting was the profession that I chose, but it was a great introduction to this world, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, I was playing all the time, and so, yeah, as a kid, I always remember it with so much love.
And can you tell me a bit about the character that you play in this movie?
The story is about a couple who is throwing a party, a very important party for Sammy, which is the character's name that I'm playing. And during this party, a stranger shows up and upends kind of everyone's world. And everyone, all the characters in the story at any given moment are the uninvited. You know, they're all kind of on the outside of whatever room they want to be on the inside of. And I play the husband, both with me, and Elizabeth Reaser plays my wife. And there will be a reckoning in all of our lives personally and in our marriage that will hopefully be rectified in a way with the potential to be invited to a deeper way of participating in your own life. You know, it's kind of a metaphor really for all of us to stop chasing carrots and be grateful for your life and look around at the gifts that are staring you right in the face.
Yes, of course. So Delia is my character. She's an up-and-coming actress. She's having her momentum, and she's the center of attention of this party because she's the lead of the movie they're celebrating, and she's kind of like enjoying it a little bit over. She's a little bit overexcited about it because she's new to Hollywood and she's living this Hollywood lifestyle as the other characters. But behind the smiles and behind this confident girl, there's a woman who's dealing with an urgent matter she's having a hard time with, and she comes to this party to start solving it.
My character invades a Hollywood party. I am the intruder. It takes place in a house in the Hollywood Hills, and this movie couple are giving a party rather fraught, and suddenly my character, pulls up and is trying to get into the garage. And it's a story of two conflicting stories, really. There's this night, it all takes place in this night of the party, with another story from where and why. So it's an interesting mix, and I'm very dying to find out what people see when they see it.
I was wondering, was a bad party experience the inspiration for this film?
Yes, actually it was. And it wasn't a bad party, but it was a party that my husband in real life, who plays the husband in the movie, but this is not even remotely a biopic, but the only thing that is true was that while we were getting ready for this cocktail party at our house, an old woman showed up believing that she'd returned home. And I was so profoundly affected by this lost woman who I managed to figure out how to take care of her and get her home, but right before she left, she grabbed my hand and said, "Thank you." And it was this moment of clarity that broke my heart, because she didn't belong to anyone anymore. And I guess it just never left me, this feeling of where do you belong, who do you belong to? And then it was at a point in my life where I didn't know where I belonged because I had just become a mother and my career was on hold. And so I started to realize that this juggling of selves was so similar at different periods in your life. And so I wrote a story of 3 women, 25, 45, and 95, grappling with different urges, but all of them roles that are impossible to sort of bring together, you know.
Thank you. Can you tell me about your experience of making your first narrative feature?
Oh my God. The fastest way to explain that is I can't wait to do it again because I loved it and also I learned so much and I cannot believe what I didn't know. And there's like no way to know what you don't know until you're doing it. Like I'll never forget like the first day of shooting when I was sitting there and I had all my things and the shot list and the everything and we're sitting around and all the actors were there and the whole crew was there and nothing was happening. And then the first AD came up to me and he's like, you know, it's all you right now. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's do this. Like I didn't realize, like literally, how much a director drives that train, you know? And so I learned that, but I learned that on the first day, and so I was always catching up to that idea, you know? So going in again, you know?
Yeah. So I was wondering, when reading the script for the first time, was there any moment in particular that made you go, I want to be a part of this movie?
Yes, the character I play is a former actress who would still like to be acting and can't really get a job and is pretty shattered in her life and lives in Hollywood and it's really a nightmare. And I thought that was funny and tragic and all the things that feel true to me about what that experience is personally, so I was really interested.
Well, she's my wife. The director is my wife. Our writer-director is my wife. And so, yeah, it was a play, you know, to start off with. And I read it on a plane coming back home. And it was a long flight. And I am not one for public displays of affection, of emotion. And I was on this plane and I read it. And at the end, when I finished it, I couldn't stop crying. So much so that the flight attendant kind of came over and said, "Are you okay?" "Yes, I'm fine. Do you have some whiskey?" You know, it just floored me. And I've been a fan of her writing for 19 years. You know, we came together. She was very close to directing a movie back then, and so I was just blown away by the whole experience and what she ultimately was saying about the human condition. But I didn't want to. I never thought about being a part of it. Certainly when it was a play, I wasn't going to be a part of it. And when it became a movie, I didn't want to participate because I didn't want to let her down. You know, it was just too much pressure. Mm-hmm. But the stars aligned and fates conspired, and we went through this experience together and had an amazing time and survived, and it brought us even closer. And I'm just so proud of her.
Yes, so the first thing that hit close to home when I read the script was the loneliness and fear that Rose, Elizabeth's character, feels, because I felt identified. I became a mother when I was 23, and as soon as I had my baby, I wanted to go back to work. I wanted to prove myself and prove the world that I could still function, work, and so I started auditioning right away, and I kind of felt like exactly what she felt in Hollywood. You know, I would go to auditions with my pumping machine and I would pump in the restrooms. It was a surreal experience, but I think that if I hadn't had that experience, I wouldn't have connected with the script the same way.
It was a part of complexity and mystery. I don't mean to. By mystery, I mean you're just not sure. She's ill. You just don't know how it's going to happen. And it was always very interesting. I was lucky to come across it.
So what was your favorite scene to shoot and why?
Oh, goodness, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe first getting acquainted with the house, I think. Yeah. And with the leading character, Rose?
Actually, weirdly, one of my favorite scenes was the hardest scene, and where I'm not going to say which scene it is, because two of the actors had a profound disagreement about a scene before we shot it. And they each wanted to change the scene, they each wanted to do it differently, and so we rehearsed the scene for camera and for everyone to light and everything, and then we went off to go talk about how do we change the scene to make it work. And we just kept getting further and further away from an answer. And the first AD was knocking on the door like, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. And we couldn't come to an agreement. And so I decided, okay, let's do the whole scene exactly how we blocked it, but with no words. And to me, it's the best scene in the movie because it was so filled with so much anger between the characters and emotion. And by taking the words away in a film that was originally a play, and there's so many words in this movie, like that you have an entire scene where no one's talking, but they're just looking at each other. I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what, is filmmaking, because I would never have written that scene. I didn't know it was going to happen, and it happened in the moment.
So my favorite scene was one scene that I had with, she's not here. I was like looking over there, but she's not here. With Elizabeth Reaser. It was like feeling that I connected so much with her. She's an amazing actor. And my character kind of like sees herself in Rose, in her character, in a couple of years. And that scene shows a lot of connection between women, and this movie is, like exposing the sexism about, that happens every day in this business, and I think that it's a good scene to kind of like put it out there and this is what this movie does actually. Like it brings to the forefront the sexism that is installed and normalized, and I think that it's like this sisterhood that happens in the movie between the both of them. They are two actresses in different stages of their lives, but they understand each other. That was my favorite scene.
I honestly, there was a scene where I'm just crying and not speaking, and I actually really liked that scene. It felt true to the moment.
And for a final question, as film students, we're always looking for advice as to how to get into this industry. So what advice would you give us for aspiring filmmakers?
Oh my gosh. I would say buckle down, work really hard, listen to your inner voice, be passionate about what you're doing, and if you're compelled to do it, you will do it. And you just got to keep going, and you got to be creative, and you can't listen to nonsense. What's the word? It's the same thing I wish someone had told me. Just like believe in yourself, and see it through, and focus on your work, and don't waste time on boys the way I did. That's my number one piece of advice.
Oh my goodness, what a question. I remember being interviewed a couple of years ago at the end of a long interview, and this is a hard question. And I just said, be on time and enjoy yourself. How about that for advice?
Well, I think that to resist rejection, because rejection is a big part of this world, of this industry, and we just have to keep going, to keep doing things, and I don't think that going to audition and getting a no is a waste of time. It actually helps you. I think that it's like a rehearsal. I take it like that, and that helped me a lot because it helps you improve your craft.
This is my first feature narrative. I made documentaries before, but I'm 54 years old, and I've been trying to do this for 25 years. So I suppose it's don't quit, Keep your life rich and full with so many interests and so many jobs, and I had so many different jobs, and I had jobs that are outside of the industry. I worked as a graphic designer. Do what you can to keep pushing towards that ultimate goal, do it. Why? You're such a unique person. Like, why are you here? What story? Honestly, to be human is to tell a story. And you have a story, like, don't imitate their story. And we're in a period of time where everything needs to be reinvented anyway. So just speak from your heart or from your art, and that's the only reason that you're here. And doing it's an affirmation of being human beings and being alive. So.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe and drop a comment down below of what you thought about this interview. And also, if you can't get enough of us, check out this video right here. I'm sure you'll like it. Anyways, that's it for me, and we'll see y'all next time.